What's up? What's up? What's cracking lacking? What's popping? What's going on, everybody? We're back with another things that young black men should know. All right. This is probably going to be a long series. Some videos or some episodes will be back to back, and some will not. But I think this is going to be a long series that I really hope it'll help some of these young men out. Because, like I said, in probably one of the earlier episodes, it's just something I've been noticing with a lot of young men when they becoming 18, and actually noticing even before then, even under 18, there seems to be a lot that they need to know about to get them all caught up, so they don't get caught up. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to put this out, like I said, because I just been, I guess you could say, personal in the sense of, I think back to when I was growing up, as an adult now, thinking back to what all I didn't know and probably needed to know. And I'm also looking at some of the young men starting to turn 18, like I said, younger. So this series goes out to the boys as well as the young men as well as the adult men, because some adult men as well might need this. Sometimes it's just a reminder for the grown fellas, and for the younger guys, it's some knowledge that they need to be put up on, and then for the young boys to get them a nice head start, is some information that they need to know as well. So I'm doing this for them, but at the same time as well, everybody can actually benefit from some of the stuff. So some of these things are exclusively for young black men and young black boys, and some of it is kind of universal. All right. So a lot of you could benefit from it. So with that being said, we're gonna look at taking the initiative. All right. Take the initiative. All right. I'm gonna break that down today. All righty. So with that being said, man, you're rocking with the best. This is Thoughts of the Week. Let's get it.
Do you know what you're listening to? You're listening to Thoughts of the Week.
Oh, how's that?
All right. So taking the initiative, excuse me. So some of you might be saying, yo, what do you mean by take the initiative? Some of you might have heard people say that. Let's break this word down and then give a few examples. That way it'll help you out. All right. So what's taking the initiative? What is taking the initiative? Well, taking the initiative, or initiative, is the ability to assess and initiate. All right. Initiative is the ability. You got to have the ability to assess and initiate. So the word initiate is part of the word initiative. All right. So again, for the last time, initiative is the ability to assess and initiate. So let's break that down. The ability to assess. What are you assessing? There's a lot of things that you can assess. All right, depending on what we're talking about here. All right, depending on what we're talking about. So I like to use, but this won't be the only example. I like to use the world of personal protection or personal security. When it comes to your personal security, you'll have to assess what's going on in your immediate surroundings, in your immediate area, what's going on, and then based on the information you're gaining from your eyes, because you're looking around what's going on, and maybe from what you're hearing, you would then initiate, because as the definition states, it's the ability to assess and initiate. All right, so that's one example as far as your personal security. Another example of what you can assess your situation in life. Where are you right now in your life? Are you making the money that you've been wanting to make? Right? Are you in the position that you want to be in? Are you have a certain vision? Is that vision accomplished? You got to assess that. Assess where you are in life based on where you wanted to be, where you thought you wanted to be at. And then from there, if you're not where you want to be, you got to start creating plans and then initiate. So what does the word initiate mean? It means to start, or you could say begin. So the ability to assess and then start. Whatever it is that you're assessing and you need to start. All right. So again, using the life experience, or you can use business, you can use entrepreneurship. You can assess where you are in your entrepreneur journey. If you're running a few businesses or you started a few businesses and you're assessing, how is it going? Are you making money from your businesses? You're assessing your social media presence, right? Is there anything you can do better? Do you need to put out more content? You might be doing content once a week. Is there a way that you can maybe do it a couple of times a week or even 3 times out of the week? Is that even possible? Do you assessing all of that? Do you need somebody to help you with it? If you're a solo entrepreneur, you might have to do these things yourself. And so you're assessing the best way that you can do it, that you can add more content. You might be, like I said, running several online businesses. All right, I'll put myself in that example. Okay, I have several online websites of different topics and categories. And so I'm doing all the social media myself. All right. Every once in a blue moon, if I'm out and about with family or whatever like that, I might have them hold the camera for me while I do some commentary. I might have them do a few things to help me out, but 99% of the time, I'm the one doing everything, right? So I have to assess that. I have to assess that situation, and then based off of my assessment, begin, initiate. All right. So that's very important for you to take the initiative. Now we're gonna go a little bit on another route. Some of you gonna be dating a lady or a young woman, a young lady that you're attracted to. Some of you might be getting married to one at an early age. And that's going to probably be another subject. So we won't be talking about that today. But in regards to taking the initiative, you got to you got to assess what's going on in your relationship, right? And then you're going to have to assess some things, how things going, what your girl acting like, what your wife acting like, right? What y'all doing together in your life, what are your goals, what are your visions, and based off of that, you're going to have to initiate some things. You're going to have to start some things. That's what initiate means, start. All right. And so you got to look at that. That's another aspect. So that's why I said is a lot of things you can take the initiative on. All right. If you're still living with parents, you got to look at things, what's going on at the home front, and assess situations at home, and then start whatever you need to start. All right. So with so many avenues and directions you can go in. You might be working somewhere, you might be the manager. All right. You might be upper management. You got to assess what the people that you're managing. You might be a supervisor. You got to assess their performances. You might have to assess where you might see where somebody's lacking and they need some help somewhere, and you give them some help, teach them a good way how to do whatever it is in your particular job. And you have to assess that situation. And then once you see what's going on, like, hey, just by my assessment, me watching and looking, this guy or girl here needs some help or maybe some motivation. And so I'm going to initiate, which means I'm going to start that conversation with them to kind of get them where they need to be. All right. You might see that something's going on with an employee, and you might have noticed in the past their work performance was real good, and then they started slacking. So you assessing that, and so you want to find out what's going on so you can kind of help them or help them get over. It might be family issues going on. It could be a lot of things going on, and so you assessing that, and so you're going to initiate a conversation with them to find out where they at, because then you might have to initiate whether you might give them a few days off so they can kind of recover. It could have been a death in the family. It could have been a divorce going on. And see, some of you guys who are young, you might be managers over people that are older than you. And so the older ones could, resent the fact that they're responding or happen to check in with somebody younger than them. So you got to show a little bit more. I don't know if it's compassion. I guess compassion would be part of it, but you got to also assess them, because the older ones might have some issues. They might have some medical issues, family issues, and you as a young person might not have experienced that or having to deal with that type of situation as a manager or supervisor or somebody. So these are things that you might have to be aware of. You might not have a family of your own where you have those same experiences. So that's what being knowledgeable about things comes into play. And so you're taking the initiative by noticing and assessing what's going on at the job front as far as employees and their work performance, so you can kind of help them, or in whether it's to show them something, maybe they didn't know something, or maybe it's a new way of doing something that's faster, much more efficient, effective, and you show them that. You might notice their performances lacked a little bit, so you might want to talk to them, have a conversation with them, a private one-on-one, maybe something going on with the family, and maybe you're in a position where you can give them a couple of days off, and then that might be the very thing that when they come back, get them going again, and their job performance is back on track, and they'll respect you for that. All right. So, and this goes for, like I said, anybody. So that's pretty much, like I said, there's so many ways I can go with it, but I'm not going to just keep on dragging on. but there's so many ways that you can take the initiative on things. Like I said again, your personal life, if you went to personal security or personal protection, self-protection like me, you also got to assess when you're out and about and decide on whether you should initiate based on that. And like I said, your personal life, your business life, your entrepreneur life. If you're still living with parents, you got brothers and sisters, older or younger, you got to assess what's going on between you and them. Assess your relationships with people, family, friends, work, customers. If you deal with customers, that's a relationship as well. You got to assess these things and then initiate whatever it is you need to initiate. All right. So that's what taking the initiative is, and it will be to your benefit to always be taking the initiative on things. All right, as opposed to somebody else taking the initiative, because that's all. That also, before I get out of here, that also could come into play if you're an employee and you work with other coworkers and you don't take initiative on certain things. That coworker of yours might get in a better position than you. All right. So that's another way of looking at taking the initiative. All right. A coworker of yours might even be a friend, might be a buddy of yours. Maybe they're taking the initiative on solving problems and where you work at, and maybe you're not doing that. And so the boss is noticing them because they took the initiative to come up with a solution to a problem, or even suggesting something. Even if they didn't create the solution, maybe they have the solution in their mind and they suggest it to the boss or the supervisor, and that's taking note. That they take notice of that, and they end up giving that your friend a better position with more pay, more money, because you didn't take the initiative. All right, when you could have done so, unless it's just something you don't want to do, then that's another story as well. All right, so there you have it. Take the initiative. All right, that's another thing young black men need to know. Taking the initiative. And again, initiative is the ability to assess and then initiate. So the ability to assess and then start. You have to find out what it is you need to assess, and then you can start whatever it is you need to start. All right. All right, man. So I ain't gonna bore y'all no more, man. You should get it by now. So with that being said, you're rocking with the best thoughts of the week. I'm out of here. See you again next time. Peace.
Thank you.